Hello, hi, a very happy good evening. So this is Krishnaveni and we've been talking about the story of life on earth, and that's biology. Yes, welcome to my lecture. So we've been talking about the entire biology, both class 11 and class 12. So today we are going to talk about the new chapter, that is evolution. So ready to talk about evolution? Yes? Alright, so please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So let your friends know here ma'am is teaching the entire biology. Come on guys, please do quickly like, share and subscribe for all those who are watching my lecture. So thank you so much in abundance. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Quick. Okay, so shall we talk about evolution? So this is the last chapter in the unit genetics and evolution. So shall we move forward? Yes, so make it quick. Come on. So this is as well an important chapter. So you will have a few important questions from this. At least you will have a minimum of 2-3 questions from this lecture. Okay, so here we go with evolution, right? Okay, so this is lecture 1 of evolution. So when I say the word evolution, so this is the first thing that comes into your mind, right? So we all evolved from monkeys, we all evolved from apes. So that is where we all came from. So our ancestors are apes. So the story of evolution goes like this. So there was once a mummy ape. So mummy ape gave rise to 2 kids. So one was chimpanzee and one became the human. So that is how the story of evolution goes on. So our sibling is chimpanzee and our ancestor is apes. So we and chimpanzee are closely related because we have a common ancestor, that is apes. Okay, that is how the storyline goes back. Okay, so welcome to evolution. So what evolution has to tell us? So we will talk about the origin of life. So how did the first life come to? So how do you know that the first life on earth came into being? So who told you? Did you see? Hi Grace, how are you? So you didn't come in between. How are you? So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes Grace, how is your preparation going on? So are you a 2021 aspirant or a 2022 aspirant? Yes? Yes Ranjan Maheshwari, hello. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, so we will talk about how the first life originated on earth. So that is what we're going to talk in origin of life, and then we're going to talk about evolution of life forms. So a theory. So how did we come? So this is a theory, right? So overnight this did not happen. So first you had unicellular organism, then you had multicellular organism. Yes. So it was a theory. So each one gave a trial and error solution, and then we went forward in understanding. Okay. So then evidences for evolution. So you were not there to see the early man. So how do you know the early man lived? Because you saw pictures, you saw remains of the early man, and thus you came to a conclusion, right? So we need evidences as well. Then we'll talk about what is adaptive radiation. How did biological evolution happen? So how did the cell evolve? So that is your biological evolution. Then mechanism of evolution. So how did evolution actually happen? Then we have the most important principle, that is Hardy-Weinberg principle. And finally we'll end the chapter with the evolution of man. Alright? Yes, Ranjan, you're right. So everything is good. I'm a 2021 aspirant. Okay, Grace. So all the very best. So you are Leela. Hello, hi. So thank you, Leela. I guess you're new to my class. So thank you so much for attending my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, Dani, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So guys, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So shall we go into the story of evolution? Yes. So Jessica, yes, hello. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So is this time comfortable for all of you? 5 to 6? Yes. So nowadays we have cut short the number of lectures that we had because I wanted to give self-study for yourself. So 5 to 6 is the right time. So all your school classes get over by 5? Yes. So can we fix this time as standard? Yes, Shimpi, hello, how are you? Yes, I'm good, thank you. Yes, Shimpi, a very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, so here we move forward into the story. Just sit back and enjoy. So what is evolution or evolutionary biology? So biology is the study of living organism. So then what is evolutionary biology? So it is the study of life forms on earth, and that is evolutionary biology. So you have different life forms on earth, right? So that is evolutionary biology. So what exactly is evolution? So changes in the flora and fauna occurred over millions of years on earth. So this is evolution. So you have flora. So flora is your plants, fauna is your animals. So flora is your plants and fauna is your animals. So the changes in plants and animals that occurred millions of years on earth is what is known as evolution. Yes, Anthony Abhi, hello, very happy good evening. Yes, welcome to my lecture. Yesterday you went to hospital, so you didn't come. Okay, so please take care. Alright, so today we are talking about evolution, right? Fine. So this is exactly evolution. So the origin of life, that is evolution of life, of stars, of universe. So when I say origin of life, how the first life occurred, okay? As of now, there are no chemistry and physics classes happening, Leela. So as of now, bio class is very regular. But very soon, I guess your chemistry class is going to begin. So I have told the management on behalf of all of you watching my class, because you're also in dire need of physics and chemistry. So very soon, we might start your chemistry class, but I will let you know. All right? Yes? Fine. So when I say the origin of life, how life came into picture, so life came into picture on earth. So first we need to know how earth began. So to understand how earth was formed, you need to know how the space, how the universe was formed, right? So this is a story in order. So the study of origin of life and evolution of life forms and biodiversity on planet earth is the story of this chapter. So welcome to this chapter now, okay? So here we go, first talking about the origin of life. Right? So origin of life is a unique event in the history of universe. So why so? Okay, so how many of you, so all of us would have tried this at least once in our life. So we'd have gone to the terrace, looked at the stars, you would have looked at the beautiful night, and you have wondered, right? So it means that if you're looking at the stars, you're going way back in time. Why? The stars that you see today took millions of years to travel to where they are, right? So which means you're going back to time. So this story of evolution is not only a story of about how living organisms came into picture, it is also the story about how the universe formed, how the galaxies were formed, how the earth was formed, how atmosphere condensed. So all these also comes under the story of evolution, right? Yes, hi Dinesh. Yes, good to see you too after a long time. So please do like, share and subscribe. Right. So how did it all start? So how did it happen? So first you had space. So spaces had galaxies, right? Okay, so universe is a vast cluster of galaxy. So we have a universe, right? So the entire space is a universe. So we had galaxies there. So the galaxy that we live in is called as the Milky Way galaxy. Right? Okay, so the galaxies consist of stars, clouds of gas and dust, right? Okay, so the Big Bang theory explains the origin of universe. Okay, so the story is like this. So we have universe. Universe consists of galaxies. So how were the universe formed first? So the universe was formed by the Big Bang theory, that is huge collision in unimaginable terms. So we do not know how it happened, but if you have read one of the Dan Brown books, so they also talk about a Big Bang collision. So it was something similar to that idea. So you have your Big Bang theory, you would have seen some cartoons based on that. That is huge collision, so that led to the formation of your universe. Alright? Yes. So a single huge explosion unimaginable in physical terms. So once your universe collided and once you had this huge explosion and then your universe expanded and the temperature came down. So once the temperature came down, the gases condensed under gravity. So it led to the formation of your galaxies. So how it all started? Yes, how it all started? So we had universe. So in this universe, it went a huge explosion, that is in terms of Big Bang theory. Right? So when you had this huge explosion, so then your temperature dropped down, right? And then your gases condensed, which led to the formation of galaxies. So now our universe is formed, now our galaxy is formed. Right? So now we live in Milky Way galaxy and we live in a particular solar system. So where we have sun and the planets, right? So if galaxies are formed, so galaxies consist of your solar system. So sun is the major star there, and surrounding that we have planets. So we live on one particular planet named Earth, right? Yes, there are a lot of queries. Okay, so please make board clear. Okay, so you want the board very clear. How clear? Okay, fine. So the origin of life. So slowly, now that your galaxy is formed, now how the other thing is formed. Yes, hello Pallavi. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, I am good, thank you. Okay, so once galaxies were formed, so solar systems were initiated. So now in solar system, the first thing that you need is your atmosphere, right? So you just cannot live on Earth, you need a covering, the protective covering, that is atmosphere. So initially you had water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia released from the molten mass that covered the surface. Okay, you had dense surface, right? So you had dense surface of the Earth. So from that you had the release of water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia, right? Oh, so this is Munna. Oh, okay. So yesterday also you came, right? Munna came for my mentee. Yes, very good Munna. Okay, welcome. So UV rays from the sun broke water into hydrogen and oxygen. Among that the hydrogen, which was light, escaped out. So slowly then your ozone was formed. So this cooled water vapor and it fell as rain. So how is the storyline going? So are you understanding the storyline? So how it started? So first we have universe. So how was the universe formed? By huge explosion. So what is the huge explosion? So that is Big Bang. So when Big Bang happened, so then further what happened? Your temperature came down because it was initially very high. So once your temperature came down, then you had the gases condensed. So once the gases condensed, you had the formation of galaxies. So on the galaxies, we have the solar system, right? So solar system consists of sun and the planets. So we live on a planet known as Earth, right? So from the molten mass of the Earth, so we have the release of methane. So we have the release of water vapor plus ammonia. So all these are released, right? So the UV radiations from the sun, so the sun's UV radiations, so breaks down water into its corresponding constituents, that is H2 plus O2, right? So H2, which is being light, so it escapes into outer space. So now your UV rays acts on molecular oxygen and thus your ozone layer is formed. So this is the next step, right? So now after your ozone layer is formed, so the temperature cools down, so the water vapor cools. So water vapor cools down, right, and it fell down as rain. So once it falls down as rain, it fills your water bodies. So this is the initial story of evolution. So this is the story of the first part. Is this clear, everyone? Yes? Yes? Yes, this is clear? Oh, Didi is sending you away. Okay, tell us who's Pallavi. Pallavi is your mom, is that so? Yes, Big Bang Theory caused all this explosion and hence you had all this happen. Yes, Vinay Creations, hello, hi. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So is this clear to everyone, the initial story? Yes. So Ritu, yes, welcome and thank you for joining my lecture. So everyone understood Leela, Anthony, Shimpi? Okay, so this is the first part of the story. So moving further. So first life, where did it come from? So now that your universe was formed, your galaxy was formed, now your atmosphere is formed, your ozone is formed, everything is formed. Now how did the first living organism come into picture? So that is a $1 million question. Just like you have a doubt as to whether the chick came first or the hen came first. Sorry, the egg came first or the hen came first. So that is a $1 million question, right? Okay. So now where did the first life come from? So that is our biggest question, okay? So did life come from outer space? So where did life come from? So no one knew the actual answer. So everyone did trial and error, okay? So people suggested it could have been like this, it would have been like this. So which was most acceptable? We took that, okay? Fine. So did life come from outer space? Because first the universe was formed, then the galaxies were formed. So they thought that maybe life came from outer space, okay? Fine. So some scientists believe that it came from outside only, that is strictly from outer space. So it was early Greek thinkers who believed so. So it was early Greek thinkers who believed so, okay? They thought units of life called as spores. So that came from outer space, right? So they called it as panspermia and even now certain astronomers believe this, okay? Hi ma'am, NEET syllabus wrap-up series for sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So after evolution, I will go to reproduction, okay? So evolution will finish off that unit Murugan. So after that, we will go to sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Done? So maybe I will start next week about your sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Alright? Yes. So Dinesh Kumar, yes, welcome and thank you for joining my session. So the first theory is that people suggested life came from outer space. So this is the life. So we are talking about how did the first life come into picture. Okay. So life came from the outer space. Fine. So they call this life as spores and this theory is known as theory of panspermia. So who believed or who gave this idea were your Greek thinkers. So the first theory was the theory of panspermia, right? So the next theory, so for a long time, but people were not convinced that it was panspermia, so it was not widely accepted. So we went to the next one. So for a long time, it was also believed that life came out of decaying and rotting matter like your straw and mud. So they called this as the theory of spontaneous generation. But the next theory came because we were not satisfied with the theory of panspermia. The next theory came into picture. So the next theory was that they said that life came from decaying and rotting material. So that was the next theory, okay? And this theory is called as the theory of spontaneous generation. So this is the third theory. So sorry, this is the second one. The first one is the theory of panspermia, which spoke about your spores, which came from the outer space, right? The next one is the theory of spontaneous generation. Right? But this was also not accepted. Why? Because the next theory was sensible. So what is the next theory? So the next theory was given by Louis Pasteur. He said that life comes only from pre-existing life. So if we agree on this theory, the theory of spontaneous generation has to be abolished. Yes, Mercy, Mary, hello, hi, a very, very happy good evening. So thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay. Yes, so next the theory that Louis Pasteur suggested was that he said life came from pre-existing life. So he showed that in a pre-sterilized flask, when it is completely sterilized, it is devoid of any living organism. So life did not come from killed yeast, while another flask open to air, new living organisms lost from killed yeast. So when you have a sterilized flask, there was no life because there was no pre-existing life, right? When he had killed yeast in a sterilized flask, even then there was no living organism, but only when he left it open, so this came in contact with air which had your living organisms, then the new life came into picture. Thus your spontaneous theory was once and dismissed for all. Okay, but however this does not answer a question as to how the first life came on earth. So that was still a mystery. Okay. So, what were the theories that we spoke? So, the first theory, so we are talking about the origin of life. So, the first theory was panspermia. So, this says that spores which obtained from outer space were the first living units, right? So, the next one was your theory of spontaneous generation. So, what did this theory say? So, this theory said that life came from dead and decaying matter. Life came into existence from decaying and rotting matter. So, this was the theory of spontaneous generation. So, the next theory was life came from pre-existing life. Who proved this? Louis Pasteur. Right? So, these two were ruled out. So, as of now, this was accepted. But still people did not know how did the first life come. So, where did the first life come from, or what was the first life? So, that was still a mystery. So, here we move forward. So, we had two people, Oparin and Haldane. So, Oparin from Russia and Haldane from England. Okay, so they said the first form of life could have come from pre-existing non-living organic molecule. They suggested, so then we went forward, we had two other scientists. So these two scientists suggested that the first living cell or the living life could have come from non-living organic molecule like your RNA and proteins. They said that before biological evolution, you had what is known as chemical evolution happening. Okay, yes, first one is Big Bang, but that is not actually mentioned because Big Bang is given as how the universe was formed. Okay, but we are talking about how life started. So the life started with the theory of panspermia. Okay, Antonia B? Right, so they said that before biological evolution, we had chemical evolution. So organic molecules were formed from inorganic constituents, right? The conditions on earth were high temperature, volcanic storms, reducing atmosphere, containing ammonia and methane. So this was their theory. So how it went about? So the next one, so the fourth one was given by Oparin and Haldane. So what they said? They said, so first chemical evolution happened. So what is chemical evolution? So first you had non-living inorganic molecules. So inorganic is non-carbon molecules. So from this we had non-living organic molecules. and they said from this came the first cell or the first life. So this was the theory of Oparin and Haldane. Alright? Yes? Okay. So to some extent this was agreed, okay, because under the same conditions when we did in lab, so there was a scientist known as Miller, so he wanted to check if life came from inorganic molecules, then organic molecules, then the first cell. So he tried the same experiment in your lab. So he created electric discharge in a closed flask and he contained methane, H2, ammonia and water vapor at 800 degrees Celsius, because when the inorganic molecules were formed, so under heparin and Haldane theory, they said that the temperature was pretty high. So here also he fixed a high temperature and he observed the formation of organic molecules. So similar experiments observed the formation of sugars, nitrogenous bases, pigments and fats. And when we analyzed a meteorite, so we also found that the same process is happening. Thus, the theory of chemical evolution was accepted. The proof for chemical evolution was given by your Miller's experiment. Done? Okay. So, the first form of life arose slowly through evolutionary forces from non-living molecules. So, how did the first life come? So, now the most accepted theory is that the first life came from non-living organism. So, this is the most accepted form. So, this is accepted by majority, but how from a single living organism we became this multicellular, huge, humongous creature is the story of this chapter, that is evolution. So, I hope the first theories are clear. So, a quick recap of the theories. So, first we spoke about universe. So, how the universe was formed? So, the universe was formed by Big Bang theory. So, by Big Bang theory, what happened? So, the temperature came down. So, the temperature reduced. So, thus the gases condensed. So, once the gases condensed, so it gave way to the formation of galaxies, right? So, in your galaxies, we have your solar system, and in the solar system, we live on a planet called as Earth. So, initially, we had the release of methane, water vapor, and your ammonia from the molten surface, right? And the sun's radiation. So, here we also have sun. So, the UV rays from the suns, it broke down water into H plus and O2. So, this being lighter, so this escaped into the outer space. And then the action of sun's rays on the oxygen, it led to the formation of ozone. So, once ozone were formed, then the water vapor cooled down and it fell down as rain, right? So, now your earth is formed, your galaxy is formed, everything is formed. So, please change your setting, change your HD. So, keep it under higher pixel. Please keep it under higher pixel because everyone is not complaining. So, which means you have to change your setting, Leela. So, please change your setting. Okay? Right? So, now we are talking about how life came into picture. So, the first theory was your panspermia. The second theory was theory of spontaneous generation. Right? So, number 3, after this we had Louis Pasteur's rule, which says that life came from pre-existing life. And number 4, we had chemical evolution by heparin and Haldane. So, this was given by Oparin and Haldane. And similar experiments in lab was performed by Miller. So, this is what I spoke so long. So, is this much clear to everyone? So, this is the summary of whatever we spoke so long. So, now can I move further? Yes? Okay. So now moving further, so evolution of life forms a theory, right? So now we want to talk about how human being came into picture. Now we know the first life came into picture like this, but how did human beings develop? So how did we evolve? So that is the next question, okay? So for this, people had three connotations. So connotations are nothing but opinions. Fine? Okay, so the three opinions were, so all living organisms we see today were created as such. So this is the first opinion. So if you ask old people, they will tell you a lot of things, right? So it was like that in earlier days, it happened so and so. Your old grannies and great grannies will tell you a lot of story. Yes, Nitish, so thank you for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Yes, you're right, Anthony. Okay, so the first opinion was that all living organisms we see today were created as such. So from the above, so angels dropped human beings, angel dropped elephants, angel dropped dinosaurs, everyone as such. There was no evolution. So this was one opinion. You want human physiology video? Okay, so please subscribe my channel. So go to my channel, go to the videos part in the channel, then scroll through, so you will get human physiology. Even then, if you don't get the link, so beneath my description box of the YouTube video that you're seeing, you have a link for the Telegram channel. So ping me through the Telegram, eCareerPoint Telegram channel. I will share the links with you. Alright, Nitish? Yes? Okay. So this was the first opinion. The second one is the diversity was the same since creation and will be the same in future. So we are all so diverse, right? From microorganisms to unicellular eukaryotes to multicellular eukaryotes, we are diverse. So this we know from the first unit in your class 11. So people also said that the diversity remains the same. So when life existed on earth, we were having the same diversity, and till now we have the same diversity. So this is the second opinion, okay? And the third opinion is that people said the earth was about 4,000 years old, but no one could actually comprehend how evolution happened. So how did we arise from monkey? So if you look at monkey, the monkey's brain size is much bigger, right? Sorry, the monkey's brain size is small and the body is much bigger. So it is vice versa for us. Our brain size is bigger and our body size is small. So it gradually evolved. So monkey and we eat the same food, but monkey eats uncooked food, we eat cooked food. Right? Monkeys can rip you apart because they have a lot of body strength, but we have cognitive strength. We can think, we can devise strategies. So that is where animals lose from us, right? So that is how evolution happened. It is a beautiful journey and it is a beautiful story. Alright? Okay, so here we go. This was the three opinions, but you had one great personality who actually gave a thought to this. Sometimes we think of weird questions, right? So why it has to happen like this? Why it has to happen like this? So years before, there was one man, one scientist who is known as Charles Darwin. He had this question. So how did we evolve? So what is that is letting us evolve? So from chimpanzee, why did we become human? So how do you know after some years we will become something else? We will evolve into something more smarter than us? Maybe robots, how do we know? Right? So Charles Darwin gave a thought to it, and it is his form of evolution that we are reading. So his form of evolution is widely accepted. So we call it Darwinism or Darwinian evolution. So yes, when you have supporters, you have opposers also. So there were a lot of people who did not agree to Darwin's evolution, but gradually it was proved that he was right. So people didn't have any option. So Charles Darwin is known as the father of evolution. Right? So he went on a voyage. So voyage is a very long journey in his ship HMS Beagle. So I don't know why this is famous, but this is very famous. Okay. So he gave the following conclusions to us. So he said all existing living forms share varying degree of similarity among themselves and lives that existed millions of years ago. So we are humans. Yes. So we share some similarity with the dogs and the cows. How? we are all heterotrophs, we all depend on plants for a food, so we all have the same type of metabolism happening, right? So we share some similarity between the species that is existing right now, and we also share some similarity between the creatures that existed millions of years ago, like the dinosaurs. So dinosaurs and us, we also share some similarity. So inside the body of dinosaurs also you have metabolism. Dinosaurs were also multicellular, right? So mammoths, the Ice Age mammoths, so they also had some kind of similarity between us. So this was his first conclusion, okay? The next was extinctions of different life forms and new forms of life arose at different periods of history. So in certain era dinosaurs existed, in certain era other creatures existed. So you had dragons also existing in certain parts, right? So in certain era certain life forms existed, certain new forms came into picture, and certain life forms became extinct, okay? So this was his second conclusion. The third conclusion is that fitness of an individual or a population depends mainly on reproductive fitness. So fitness of an individual or a population mainly depends on reproductive fitness. If I say this particular group of elephants are fit enough, which means if they are only able to reproduce properly. So only if they reproduce, their population will survive. Their population will sustain for many generations to come, right? So when I say fitness, this population is fit enough, it talks about the reproductive fitness. So human beings were living on earth for almost 500 years, right? So for 500 years we are fit enough because we were able to reproduce properly. So fitness means your reproductive fitness, alright? Please give timetable for your classes. Okay, so every day 5 to 6 we will be meeting Leela, okay? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday we talk about a class 12 chapter. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday we talk about a class 11 chapter, right? So today is Friday, so we are talking about a class 12 chapter. So tomorrow is Saturday, so tomorrow at 5 p.m. we will be starting with the chapter excretory substances and their elimination. So that is human physiology, so we are going to talk about excretion tomorrow. So every day we have class at 5 p.m, right? You don't have to buy, it is free. So all the videos in YouTube are free. So you can just see, you just have to subscribe the channel. That is all that you have to do, Nitish, okay? Yes, so tomorrow I am starting excretion, so you can join me. Yes ma'am, a very happy good evening. So thank you so much for joining my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. Okay, so this is what the conclusion that Darwin gave us. So now from here we move forward. So the geological history of Earth closely correlates with the biological history of the Earth. So wherever the organism is adapted to live, so that talks about the geography, right? Okay. So now we move forward. So what are the evidences for evolution? So how do you know dinosaurs once existed? So how do you know dragons once existed? Who told you? Someone came and told you in the dream? How do you know mammoths existed? So in the beautiful movie of Ice Age, they say mammoths existed. How do you know they existed? You need evidence, right? So Grihar George Mendel's work was not recognized for long because he did not have an evidence for the term genes, right? So everywhere you need an evidence. So to prove everything you need evidence. Assumptions are different but evidences are different. Okay, so evidences shut people's mouth. Assumptions give more way or opportunity for people to talk more things, right? So yes, where does the evidence come from? Yes, Antonia B, you're right. The first evidence comes from fossil remains. So from fossils, so you get the skull of a 1,000-year-old human. So recently they have got a remain from Africa. So that remain is of a mummy's feet, okay? So the mummy also had an amputated feet. So what is amputated feet? The artificial feet. Suppose when a person's hand is lost here, so you fix an artificial hand, right? So that is amputated hand, right? So similarly, where 2,000 years back, so there was a mummy, so whose feet was now discovered. The first 2 toes were discovered. Okay, the first toe was an amputated toe. So they were like amputation was found 2000 years before. So we get to know all this from the fossil remains, right? So that is one of the strongest evidence that we have. So this is known as your paleontological evidence. So any evidence from the fossil is known as paleontological evidence, right? Okay, the next one is embryological support for evolution. So this was given by Ernst Haeckel. So he said all the living organisms during their development as an embryo, they have a gill slit. But this was overruled because we higher organisms, we do not develop gill slits, right? But this was also one support, but we slowly ruled this off. Then comparative anatomy and morphology shows similarities and differences. So if you look at the legs or the limbs of a dog, of a leopard and of the man, of the monkey, so you get some conclusion out of this, right? So slowly it became modified like this. So we are going to compare the anatomy and morphology which shows similarity and differences. So these are the evidences that we have. So evidences from fossil fuel is known as paleontological evidence. Yes? Right? Okay. So how are the fossils formed? So fossils are from the layers of sediments on rocks. So if you take rocks or if you take soil, so you have layers of sediments that are formed. So to form each sediment, it takes thousands of years. So each sediment on your rock represents each era. So this is about your fossil fuels, okay? So now we move forward to the next one. So next one is your comparative anatomy. So we have divergent evolution and we have convergent evolution. So what is divergent and what is convergent? So divergent is diverse. So you start from a single point and you move in different directions. So this is divergent, right? So it started from a single point and it spreads into various points. So this is known as divergent evolution, right? Now what is convergent evolution? So it starts from various points and it meets at a particular point. So this is known as convergent. So this is divergent, this is convergent. They converge at a common point. Right? Yes? So that is not needed for NEET. You don't have to calculate the age of fossil fuels. That is really not needed. Okay? So now let's talk about divergent evolution. So it is the same structure that developed in different directions. So it is homologous structures which had a common ancestry. Right? So what it is? So it is the same structure So it developed in different directions, meaning it went on to have different functions. So divergent evolution means you have the same structure which had different functions. So same structure is also written as homologous structures. Right? Okay. So now here you have different structures. Okay, here the structures are different, but they have same function. So this is your convergent evolution. They all converge at a point of same function. Okay, fine. So here, there the structure is homologous, here the function is homologous, right? Fine. So now moving further, what are the examples? So the examples of your divergent evolution include the limbs of your leopard, of man, of whale, etc. Right? And then you also have thorns of bougainvillea, that is your paper plant, and your cucurbita. So the thorns and tendrils. Right? So here we go. So I have the picture. So the thorns and tendrils of bougainvillea and cucurbita and the limbs. So everyone has your radius, ulna, right, and humerus. So this is your humerus. So you have your radius and ulna. You have phalanges and you have your fingers, right? So you have your carpals and you have phalanges. So it is the same structure but it has different function, right? So now the examples of convergent evolution include the wings of butterfly and the wings of birds. So then you have this flippers or flaps of, so we can say fins or flippers of your dolphin and your whales, of your dolphin and your penguins, sorry. So the function is the same but the structure is different. Then you have eyes of your humans and the eyes of your octopus. The function is the same but the structure is different. So this is your convergent and your divergent evolution. Is this clear, everyone? Yes? So divergent means you have same structure. So divergent evolution, so you have a same structure but it diverges in all direction. So which means we have same or homologous structures but the functions are different, right? So this is your divergent evolution. So please don't make a mistake here. The next one is convergent evolution. So in convergent evolution, so it converges at a particular point like this. So you have different structures but you have same function, right? So please remember convergent and divergent evolution, and we will stop here. So tomorrow I will talk about your support for natural selection, that is this moth, the white-winged moth and the brown-winged moth, which we will continue tomorrow. So I will stop here. So lecture 1 of evolution is done. So if you genuinely liked my way of teaching, so please do like, share and subscribe. So every day we will meet at 5 p.m. So tomorrow we are starting a new chapter, that is excretory system from your human physiology. So please join me for the same, and please be a bit serious. It does not matter if you are a 2021 aspirant or a 2023 aspirant. So make sure you are thorough in your concept. That is more important. Yes, Shruti, hello. So welcome to my lecture. So please do like, share and subscribe. So please stay tuned. Please have a plan. That is very important. So if you have any suggestions as to which chapter you want me to teach, you can write it in the comment section. That is important. So please don't do it in the live chat, because after I go back, I will not be able to see the live chat. But put it in the comment section, your suggestions as to which topic you want me to teach. Yes, I am you're most welcome, and I am ready to take that chapter. So please write it in your comment section. Alright. So please take care and stay tuned for more such lectures. So this is me wishing you more and more. So take care and bye.